I'm Kevin. I'm not childish. I am, though, getting frustrated with people in general. I don't know at this point in my life if I can even believe anybody. I'm thinking more for myself because now I'm in high school. I'm wondering why people are the way they are. Why me? Why am I having to deal with this kind of stuff? Teachers are disappointing. I actually thought of some more that, I could watch them grade, and you're going to think that I got a bad grade. No, I got a good grade. But the people that were working with me got bad grades, even though this was a group project. Now, how is that right? But he decided, without knowing, who did the work and who didn't. I wish I would have been able to kick his ass, really. I mean, it was so unfair to my friends. But that's the way it worked, and I yet today, I just can't accept that kind of stuff. I had a teacher, which he'll get into, we'll get him in on one of the why me's, and they'll take a whole installment. So here I am, I'm in high school, I'm learning that the guys, the other students, you can't figure on them doing anything they say they're going to do. They're not as smart as what they think they are. I find that, I'm now building some confidence because I'm realizing I actually have some intelligence, at least in some areas. In fact, it's another one. I proved a teacher wrong. He was talking about how to get a car started that's been flooded, and he told the class what to do, and I said, that's on older cars. Cars don't do that anymore. He says, yes, it does, and he got mad at me and all that. So I went home, got the owner's manual out of my parents' new car and brought it in and showed him. He wasn't happy. But that's the way I was. I couldn't stand people not knowing what the facts are. So now I'm learning about women. I've always wanted a girlfriend, but never had one. Never got into a prom or a dance because I never had a date. But I also thought, that a lot of the relationship between a man and a woman was more or less, the sexual part anyway, was for the man. Well, now I got to take health class, which was just it was a sex ed. They didn't want to call it that, though. However, the whole semester or whatever time we were in there, that's all we talked about. Well, not all, but a lot of it. And one of the things that really surprised me, women have orgasms. Now, most people might think nothing of that, most guys. So what? But to me, my Spock training, you might say, was kicking in. And I'm thinking, well, if they have orgasms, that means they enjoy sex. That means they look forward to it. Here before, I thought they were just doing it because they loved the guy. But in reality, they get something out of it too. So then I started wondering, why don't women look at men like men look at women? I mean, men are more materialistic when they look at a woman, and they're just, you might say, looking to get laid, where the woman seems to be more wanting to fall in love. And I thought, well, if they orgasm, then they got to have some desires, and they got to be looking at men, just like the magazine, just like the Playboys and Hustlers and Penthouses and things like that. There ought to be girl magazines out there, and actually not long after that, Playgirl came out, which was kind of funny to me. And whether people realize it or not, but women have regressed to the level of men, because now they look at men in the same way. And I say same, I know there's still differences, but they have definitely moved towards having the same kind of philosophies, and there's a lot more talk of just one night stands, but it isn't so much that the guy's gonna just have a one night stand, it's the girl. She's horny that night, there's a guy that appeals to her, and there's more of that going on, which is a shame, because that's just showing our world's deteriorating even more. But I'm thinking about these things, and back when I was in school, it wasn't the case. And I thought, well then, if I ever get a girlfriend and I have sex, I need to be able to satisfy her. So that meant something to me. Made me look at women completely different. I guess I had a different respect for him then too. I of course wanted a girlfriend just because I wanted somebody to be close to, and I wanted to feel like I wasn't really weird, because I felt really weird. I didn't, I wondered if I'd ever have a girlfriend. So finally, between my junior and senior year, I believe, I'm 17 years old, I get a girlfriend. I don't know how, I don't remember the details, but we started going out. Now, she had graduated from school, and so she was 18, and drinking age was 18. So on the nights that we would go out, she would always get me a 6-pack of beer. Oh, I mean, she would drink one of them. I'd drink the rest of them. And most of the time we just went parking. Not to have sex. We would go parking and sit there and talk. We didn't do a lot of things together. We did go to a dance one time. Went to the movies once, maybe twice. I don't know. We didn't do much. But I enjoyed getting almost naked in the back of my car and just holding her and drinking and talking and watching the night go away. And she would tell me things about sex. She would give me a better idea of how the woman's body works and things like that. And she always made sure I knew that she was safe. In other words, she had protection. Now you had to realize she had had a boyfriend before and she'd had sex. But this doesn't occur to me. I'm just happy to have her. So one night, I'm not in the best of moods when I let her off. I don't know what went on, but I'm probably sure that the drinking didn't help. And on my way home, I realized, well, you dumbass, she wants to get laid. And so I thought, next time we go out, I'm gonna surprise her and we'll have sex, you know. And after that, man, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, I'm really hepped up about it. Next time I call her, she's too busy. Thanksgiving's coming up and she's got to, you know, help get things ready, and her grandmother needs something. And I call her every weekend, or, you know, before the weekend, and she makes up excuses. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's her grandmother's got problems. She's got to take her here, take her there, blah, blah, blah. And they change her working hours, whatever. So now it's the middle of January. It's been 2.5 months. I call her up, and for some reason, just like when I realized that she wanted to have sex, I realized I had been dumped. But now I'm gonna regress. I forgot this part of the story. Of course that upset me. In fact, it drove me crazy. But this is the worst part. A couple weeks into dating her, because I'd always sat back, you know, all these years and watched couples get together and break up and get back together and cheat on each other and do all this stuff, I figured the odds of us staying together was slim. You know, I mean, she's my first girlfriend. What's the odds of us staying together? So I told her, I said, look, I have only one request of you. I said, if you get tired of me for any reason, don't lie to me. Please just tell me the truth. I don't want to have to deal with this, you know. And I didn't realize I was as naive as I was. And she, of course, agreed. And here, for 2.5 months, she made up excuses. And I was dumb enough to get reeled in by them. It affected me so much so that I said, the next girl that I go out with, I'm going to lay her the first chance I get. And I met this girl. She, I found out, liked me in high school. I didn't know it. Anyway, so we had started going out, and I was trying to get in her pants, and she wasn't having anything to do with that. And I quit going out with her because I realized that I was going out with her for the wrong reason. But I didn't call it. 6 months later, I'm out running around and pretty drunk and feeling guilty, and I drove over to her house and I apologized. But of course, sitting in the kitchen of her parents' house was her new boyfriend. So in her mind, it didn't bother her at all, but it bothered the hell out of me. But I at least did make it right, you know. Took me a long time that time, but I did finally take care of the issue and gave it closure. So I'll end on this one. I hadn't given up on women altogether yet. And it was coming prom time, and of course I was graduating. So, hey, even though it was awkward as hell, I decided I'm going to go out you know, I'm going to crash and burn, or I'm going to go out, you know, on top of the world. So I asked this girl out. It was one of the most popular girls. Very, very decent person, and you know, but very well known. And but I'd heard she broke up with her boyfriend, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Hey, she didn't tell me no right away, but she did tell me no. So I never went to the prom. And that was not a great time. Thanks for listening to me.